So it's a pleasure to join you tonight, or this late afternoon, to mark Global Action Week and to open this very important forum. And I'd like to begin, if I may, by first congratulating you on taking on a very key challenge of last year's Education Partners Forum, the challenge to better harmonize your own advocacy messages and share responsibility for future forums. And I commend you on forming the Canadian Global Campaign for Education Alliance. By coming together in this way, you have also taken a major step toward another of last year's challenges to develop a stronger community of practice for all education partners. Without a doubt, you are bringing much needed attention here at home and abroad to the essential role that education plays in ending poverty. Nous vivons à une époque où tous les changements semblent encore possibles dans le monde. La société civile se mobilise. Anciens présidents établissent leurs propres fondations. Les vedettes rock se lancent à la défense des droits. La lutte contre la pauvreté est au premier plan de la scène internationale. Le programme d'aide internationale du Canada connaît aussi une période très stimulante. Comme vous le savez, nous avons réfléchi sérieusement aux différentes façons d'investir les ressources d'aide canadienne pour en tirer le maximum. Last week, I presented the government's plan for Canada's role in the fight against global poverty. We are charting a new course for a coordinated, cohesive, and focused approach to development cooperation. And we know that the surest way for achieving lasting peace and prosperity is to first and foremost build a world in which all children, boys and girls, can get an education and lead a healthy life, and where everyone can earn a living wage, have a voice in their community, and leave a better planet for future generations. The Millennium Development Goals, internationally agreed upon, which were mentioned at the outset, time-bound and quantifiable targets, will help us realize this vision. And to contribute to the achievement of these goals, Canada will take a very strategic approach that matches developing country needs with Canadian expertise, while at the same time working very closely in coordination with other donors. We will invest in sectors and countries where we know we have the expertise, where we have the experience and resources to make a lasting difference. We will focus our efforts in 5 major sectors. These are real changes and an exciting time for CIDA and development in Canada. First of all, good governance. Second, we will focus in health with a lead on HIV/AIDS, basic education, private sector development, and environmental sustainability. Gender equality will be integrated into everything that we do. CIDA, the Canadian International Development Agency, is world-renowned for our attention to and the work we have done in gender equality, and we will continue that. I've said before, I don't think that we have to lead every parade. There are some I very much want to lead in the excellence of our agency, but particularly we do lead on gender equality, and it is an incredibly important one to continue. Alors, comme vous le savez, le gouvernement du Canada considère l'éducation comme un droit humain fondamental. Il n'y peut y avoir de développement durable sans éducation. Elle bannit l'ignorance, la pauvreté et la souffrance, puis ouvre la porte à la prospérité, à la paix et à la santé pour tous. Selon les évaluations, près de 100 millions d'enfants dans le monde ne vont pas à l'école et 800 millions d'adultes, dont une majorité de femmes et de filles, ne savent ni lire ni écrire. As Kofi Annan has pointed out, study after study has taught us that there is no tool for development more effective than the education of girls. No other policy is as likely to raise economic productivity, lower infant and maternal mortality, or improve nutrition and promote health, including the prevention of HIV/AIDS. A single year of schooling can increase a woman's wage by 10 to 20%. If every child received an education, 7 million cases of HIV could be prevented in the next decade. And children born to literate mothers are 50% more likely to survive past the age of 5. These are powerful, powerful statistics. The international policy statement, which we have concluded and brought forward to the government, rather to committee tabled in the House of Commons, reaffirms Canada's commitment to the MDGs, particularly to making good quality primary education accessible to boys and girls the world over. Canada has shown leadership within the G8 and the donor community by putting an emphasis on education for all and supporting global partnerships such as the Education for All Fast Track initiative, which puts aid effectiveness principles into practice. We have indeed at CIDA an agency-wide investment in basic education. In the last 5 years, we have invested well in excess of $500 million in education. And just to give you a sense of how that puts Canada where we stand, it means that Canada ranks 4th out of 22 donors. We are well ahead of any other G7 country in terms of taking our fair share as of 2003 in the global education financing gap. So while it has been mentioned that we have a lot to do, I am very proud of how far Canada's development policy has come in education. We stand as a leader. We continue to do that. We will continue to assist developing countries as they take steps to ensure that every boy and girl is able to access and complete free, compulsory, quality basic education. And we have a well-established expertise in a number of areas. Canada has a great deal, for example, to contribute to teacher training and curriculum development. Closing the gender gap means removing the barriers that keep girls from accessing education. Educating girls yields spectacular social benefits. An educated girl tends to marry later and have fewer children. The children she does have will be more likely to survive, they will be better nourished, and they will be better educated. She will be more productive at home and better paid in the workplace. She will be better able to assume a more active role in social, political, and economic decision-making throughout her life. Canada will build on its strong programming in girls' education to support specific initiatives and reforms that will help to eradicate gender inequality. And third, what I think is key, education in preventing the spread of HIV/AIDS. Young men and women with higher levels of education, thanks Tony, know more about the virus. They have a better understanding of how to avoid infection, and we are better placed to change behavior that puts them at risk of contracting the disease. Some of our partners are working to integrate HIV/AIDS awareness and prevention into school curricula and offering education opportunities to AIDS orphans. Canada will continue to support efforts to better integrate those prevention efforts of local communities and non-governmental organizations into the formal education systems in developing countries. Et finalement, dans les situations de crise et de conflit, une fois qu'on s'est occupé des besoins immédiats, soit la sécurité et la nutrition, l'un des meilleurs moyens d'instaurer la stabilité et d'assurer la protection et de rouvrir les écoles et d'y envoyer les enfants. L'aide canadienne tiendra compte de cette réalité dans les cas de conflit et de catastrophe. So I'm very pleased to announce today that Canada will provide $16.5 million to help Nicaragua achieve its national education objectives. Under our program-based approach, the funds will be used not only to help improve the quality of basic education, but also improve educational and financial governance. And in addition, we are providing $7.5 million to help improve poor children in Kenya have access to better quality primary education. We work very closely with DFID, our British counterpart on the Kenyan education. So partners like those of you here this evening play an essential role. It's important that you know that and to know how highly we value the role you play. And it is to change the world for the better because of education. Education empowers. Education saves lives. Education builds a future. And together, I look forward to working with you and does my colleague Tony Iano so that we can help end poverty. Thank you.